It is time to play some fucking Exocolonist. Ah. Oh my god, I forgot my heart rate was gonna be there. I'm debating on moving it. I think I'm gonna move it so it's just more visible. That's better. During the Kirby stream, I realized while I was clipping stuff that, like, even with my heart rate, you couldn't fucking see it, because Kirby was underneath of it. Alright. That looks good, though. It's not really centered, but, do you know? Sometimes things aren't centered. And that's okay. Alright. We were befriending people. We are highest friendship with Anemone and Mars? That doesn't seem right. Why? We're getting somewhere with Rex. I feel like we should probably befriend Nomi Nomi too at some point. But I don't know what this one likes. What do you like, child? Is it anybody's birthday? No ones that I know. I have low stress. I guess I'm highest next for animals. Maybe I should go for that? Ooh, actually, I'm pretty close to bravery for a skill up. Maybe I'll do that instead. It's +2 bravery. I wonder if exploring is probably my best bet. I should probably just explore nearby. Ooh. Exclamation point. You've been saved a few times from certain doom, or at least discomfort, and it can't have been a coincidence. Something, or someone, has taken an interest in you. You're being followed. You're beginning to get a feel for this place and its dangers, so the next time you hear the hiss-click of a nest of hungry snap bladders, you walk straight towards it, keeping an eye out for anyone watching you from the trees. There! Just as you think you're going to have to climb into the damn nest to get your savior to show up, you see a shadowy, humanoid figure darting behind a tree. You make eye contact and you both freeze. His almond-shaped eyes widen in his not-quite-human face, and he slips away into the jungle. Well, that's really easy. I'm gonna track him. Rather than rush after him, you use your tracking skills to carefully follow his path and sneak up on him. You pounce like a manicore, and the two of you tumble to the ground. You pin his arms. I was not expecting a new character. Wait. What the fuck? You get a good look at his face for the first time. The long, delicate features, the odd tone of his skin, almost purple, and his glittering alien eyes. Before he can answer your questions, you jump off him and back away. What is he? He brushes the dirt from his clothes and stands up tall. Very tall. You have to take another step back to get a good look at him. You catch a glimpse of a pale purple wrist under his tattered black sleeves, delicate, like bird bones. I am a gardener, he purrs, and you're trespassing on my planet. Now that you can see all of him, you confirm he's definitely not human. Besides the purple tint to his skin, he's also just constructed differently. Human, but not, and taken as a whole, those little discrepancies add up to something that is decidedly alien. You're an alien. He laughs, a light and infectious chuckle that sounds more animal than human. It goes on for a bit too long. You think he might be poking fun at you. Motherfucker. Actually, you're the alien here if you think about it. You do think about it, and he's right. He jumps onto a large rock and crouches, eyeing you thoughtfully. Let's make a deal, he says. He speaks with an odd inflection, putting the wrong stress on things, but the words themselves come easily enough to him. I'm not supposed to talk to you, he says. It's against the rules. But since you caught me, I can grant you one wish. He smiles mischievously. Is this a joke? Well, he's not going to have kudos, and he's definitely not going to stop laughing at me. I wish to know more about you. He gives you a sly look. In time, Selene, I hope. He pauses and his eyes unfocus for a moment. He stares straight ahead, unblinking. Then he slowly stretches like a cat and stands up. Well, this has been fun, but I'm afraid duty calls. He doffs an invisible hat towards you. My name is Symbiosis, by the way, or Sim, if you like. He jumps behind the rock and disappears. Literally, he disappeared. You search all around and can find no trace of where he might have gone or how. Stars, you just met an alien! Nice. Oh, I can talk to him. You're walking up a trail when you're caught by surprise. It's Sim, and he's running? You're knocked to the side as he pushes past you, running in an opposite direction with barely a glance. You shout and chase after him, but after a few seconds, it becomes clear that you don't have a hope of finding Sim when he doesn't want to be found. You turn and continue along the path, and around the next bend, you spot a familiar face. Utopia. She's collecting rock samples with a pickaxe like an old-timey prospector. Who the hell was that, she demands. Who? I didn't see anyone. Utopia squints at you. The man who just ran past. The tall guy dressed in black? How did you not see him? She hikes her pickaxe off of her shoulder. Whatever, just watch where you're running, okay? The gravel's loose around here, and maybe check in with Doc Instance and get your eyes looked at. You agree, happy to be out of this conversation without any trouble, and continue along the path before Utopia asks any more questions. You walk for a couple minutes before you see Sim again. He seems to be in good humor despite the close call. Oh, he says, leaning against a tree, it is tiresome to be so secretive. He wipes his eyes, brimming with mirth. It is such a pleasure to be around you and Diz and to not have to hide myself. He sobers quickly. I do appreciate your discretion, he says. It is not the right time for the gardeners to be formally introduced. To do so too early would cause a great degree of chaos. Yes, even the female surveyor, he continues. I do like her, but I have learned from my limited experience with your kind that adults of your species do not react well to surprises. It is good that you're here, though, Sim continues, as I do need something from you. Data. What? Sim holds up his hands. Please do not be alarmed, he says placatingly. They've said this word multiple times, and I still don't know how to pronounce it. It's okay. I do not mean sensitive information such as personnel and defenses. I only mean the contents of your digital cultural archive. Like holovids? Sim smiles. Yes, exactly. Your holographic recordings of movies, music, books, cultural artifacts only, I promise. Why? Well, Sim says, isn't it kind of obvious? I wish to know more about your kind. I wish to learn how to... He struggles for the right phrasing. I wish to learn how to act in such a way that is not so discomfiting. Sure. To humans. Okay. Sim's gentle smile grows warmer. Truly, he asks, clasping his hands. I mean, realistically, what is he gonna do with this shit? There's not gonna be... All of our holovids don't seem to be particularly, like, useful. It's like fucking... Mars likes watching soap operas and shit. Oh, I thought it would take a great deal more convincing. You are surprising. It's such a pleasure. Ah! Hold on. You tell Sim that you can likely find a mem drive in engineering and fill it with the data he wants. Hold on. He's romance. Well, no, you can flirt with Utopia too. That doesn't mean anything to me yet. But it is intriguing. I'm 16. So I could. But I'm romancing the dog boy. I can't switch again which romance path I'm doing. Okay, no. Just a few questions of my own. That's fair, Sim says. It must be frustrating to feel as though the truth is being withheld from you. Ignorance is not a yoke your kind bears easily. Please trust me when I say that my inability to answer your questions is born of circumstances beyond my control, not a lack of desire on my part, he continues. I have full faith that you will know everything soon enough. Okay. Hello. You hear a sad hiccuping sound and follow it to a sick Hawkeye. It's hunched down low, its foot completely nestled under its body and shivering uncontrollably. Its enormous eyes roll around in confusion and fear as you approach. I'm gonna take you home. Oh. Okay. And now this is just for fun. I could have gotten a 41. Whatever. The Hawkeye hisses and tries to bite you. It doesn't want to be touched. You throw your jacket over it, then carefully pick it up and put it in your pack. You crack the zipper a bit to give it some fresh air. Your dad helps you make a little nest for it in an empty part of the geoponics barns. Every day you bring it food and water and gradually nurse it back to health. Cal takes an active interest in the recuperation. Utopia says that Hawkeyes don't really have a gender, he says, as you're washing out the pen together. Or maybe she said they're both? And they're really social. What are you gonna name them? Mrs. Hoppington? Sir Hopsalot? Optimus Prime or Hop Solo? I mean... Optimus Prime is fantastic, but come on. A vagabond, a scoundrel, a ruffian with a heart of gold. Does that make you Solane Baka? No. Cal offers the Hawkeye a piece of bobber fruit. Cute. Hop Solo plucks the fruit from Cal's hands and hops into your lap to snuggle down and nibble on it. Cal snaps a photo with his holopalm and shares it, captioning friends for life. Aww. I have another pet? I have another... Oh, that forced me back. That's okay. It's someone's birthday. It's Anemone's birthday. Hey, Diz. You and Diz are sitting on the tailgate of one of the expedition vehicles, shelling bobber seeds with your teeth and spitting the hard bits on the ground. Now and then, one of you points out something funny a passing surveyor does, or spots something under the mush trees. This is the easiest way to talk to Diz, by not talking at all. Diz has always been like this. Being isolated from the other kids has made him thoughtful. Out of everyone, you think Diz might understand about Sim and be able to keep the secret. Do you tell him? Didn't Sim tell us that he knew Diz already? I trust him. You tell Diz that you saw something interesting when you were out on an expedition. Diz perks up immediately, turning to look at you. Yeah? He asks. What? I met an alien. His jaw drops and his face goes an interesting color. You're worried for a moment that he's going to be upset with you for teasing him, but... No way, Diz hisses, leaning in. I met an alien too, Solane. What was yours like? Is this flirting with... Okay, flirts with Sim. Hi! Welcome to stream, how are ya? I don't want to flirt with Sim. But realistically, I already have as much friendship with him as I do. Whatever. Diz's color deepens. He looks at a loss for words, opening and closing his mouth a few times. Wait, he stammers. Do you mean Sim? You nod, and Diz suddenly becomes extremely interested in the hem of his sweater. Sim is more pretty than handsome, I think, he mumbles. He made me swear I wouldn't tell anyone else, Diz says earnestly. It's a weird expression on him. He said if other humans find out about the gardeners, we'd all be in a lot of danger. So we can talk about Sim, but we have to keep it a secret. So the Western Ridge ruins. Yeah, I'm sure the gardeners are related to those ruins somehow. He shakes his head. I asked Sim if the gardeners built what used to be there. He said the ruins built the gardeners. He's always speaking in riddles. Okay, this will be our secret. Diz nods, looking serious. Good, he says simply, then repeats it. Good. You go back to shelling bobber seeds in silence, watching the colony go about its business. It's Anemone's birthday. We gotta go give her this. Cool, thanks. I guess it is my birthday this week. I kind of forgot. I have something for you. Anemone. I'm gonna give you a flower. You find Nomi Nomi in the lounge, flanked by 2 hollow screens and doodling in a sketchbook with real paper. One hollow screen is playing an animated kids show, while the other is a wall of text that looks like it might be a translation guide of some kind. Nomi's attention moves between the 3 easily. When they see you, they jump up and quickly close their hollow screens, sitting up straight and clutching their sketchbook to their chest. Oh, hi, Solane, they giggle, rubbing the back of their head charmingly. How you doing? It's okay, you can watch cartoons here. Nomi relaxes a little, breathing an exaggerated sigh of relief. They're watching anime. That's what this is. They have a translation guide up? Absolutely, this is anime. Good, because I really like cartoons. Nomi sets their sketchbook aside and looks around conspiratorially. I thought you were gonna bust me for jailbreaking my holopad, they say. All the Helios kids have restrictions on what we can watch and for how long, but you guys have so many more cartoons than we had. Nomi throws their arms in the air, like the first season of Turbojet Hyperjet Transform! Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transform. What? This is anime. I love Turbo Girl Hyperjet Transform. What? Nomi cries, slapping their hands to their cheek. Really? It's the best cartoon ever made. What else has schoolgirls who look like aircraft in the race down, battling evil aliens while dealing with the stresses of high school life? You have to agree you were pretty fond of the arc in the 3rd season where Kamaya and Otoko disagreed about whether Haruka could truly be considered a hyperjet if she was part helicopter. The Helio Media Archives only had season 2 through 9 and only 3 of the OVAs, Nomi says, puffing their cheeks out. I can't believe in the 4th OVA, Flight Captain Yumiko gets captured by the aliens and brainwashed into thinking she's been an alien sleeper agent this whole time. You hadn't seen the 1st season? Nomi shrugs and pokes one finger into their cheek. Spaceship kids make do. You don't have to know everything about something you like just in order to call yourself a fan, Nomi continues. Just liking it with all your heart is good enough. Nomi laughs and flips over their sketchbook, showing off some of their drawings. I was drawing some fan art of the show, they say. Well, it's kind of a fan art. Okay, it's more like if I was a character in Hypergirl Turbojet Transform. What kind of aircraft would you be? Nomi blinks at you, clearly stunned by your interest. Well, okay, kind of. You see, all the cool aircraft are already taken, and it's rude to be a double. They press the tip of their index fingers together and look thoughtful. Sometimes I draw myself, my character, as something weird, like a hot air balloon. But then I think, it would be kind of cool if I was the only regular human in the Turbo Girl hyperjets. Aww. Lovely. Nomi is fantastic. Hugs. Aw, yeah. I have 2 pets now. Mars is scrolling through the colony message board on her holopalm. Solane, do you think I'm stuck up? She asks. There's like this whole thread on the colony board about how I'm conceited and think I'm so much better than everyone else. She continues scrolling. If I felt shame, that would really hurt. Here you go. She holds up the flower to look at it. She likes flowers, she just doesn't want to admit it. I need more bravery. Oh, wait, no, I'm supposed to go to engineering. Download data for Sim! Sim asked you for data on human culture, television shows, music, books, things like that. You have unlimited access to Congruence's media archives through your holopalm, but for Sim it will be a little bit more complicated. You'll need to find a physical storage unit with enough memory to contain a chunk of the holo archives. Steal one! The robot workshop would be a good place to look. You sneak in, nobody around. Good. You rummage around until you find what looks like a portable holo unit in a drawer, and then find a port in the wall to plug it into. An interface pops up with the option to copy data onto the tiny drive. Perfect. You start by carefully copying your favorite vids and games, then realize there is a ship-ton more room on this tiny device. You sweep in several thousand more vids, as well as the entire content of the school's Learningpedia. As you slip the unit into your pocket, the Congruence console above you suddenly flickers and lights up. Congruence seems amused. She doesn't sound an alarm, although you know you shouldn't be in here, but asks in a neutral voice, "What are you doing in here, Solane?" "I needed this holo unit for school." You casually take it back out of your pocket and present it to her. You tell her Professor Instance told you to come get one and put some data on it. You're studying Old Earth media and humanities. Congruence actually believes you think? It's hard to tell, since she has complete control over her facial expressions. As you leave, you realize the hole in your story. Why would you need it on a physical drive instead of just watching it through your holopalm? Congruence must have seen through your ruse, but deemed it harmless. Well, at least you're done. Yeah, she would not have believed I was just there to see her, though. We have to go back out there and see Sim again. Explore nearby, please. There he is. Actually, I think I'm gonna run past him on purpose and just pick up any other collectibles that have spawned. Because otherwise I will forget to do that and or possibly take myself back on accident. It has been so long since I've explored this area. I guess that's all that's out here. That's actually pretty small. I thought it was way bigger. Did you bring what I asked? Sim is standing in the shadows, wrapped up in his clothes like he's trying to blend into the jungle. He looks like a vid actor pretending to be shifty. You guess he's asking about the data he asked you to smuggle out of engineering. I want to take a closer look at him. It's only fair that you observe Sim in the same manner that he often observes you, intently and while hidden behind a tree. You pretend to leave, then double back and watch him from a short distance away. You hope you'll see what he does when you aren't around.
Let's go.
Sim looks like a human, if an alien had to draw a human entirely from a written description. too tall, too long, his eyes too black, his whole posture too weirdly attentive. His hair is the most interesting part, so perfectly kept for someone who seems to live in the wilderness, and sometimes you swear it moves in ways that hair shouldn't, like the first time you saw a time-lapse of a flower turning towards the sun. You watch in silence for nearly 10 minutes, but Sim does absolutely nothing. He tilts his head like he's listening to the wind, then he leans over to stare at a random patch of grass for far too long. Eventually, he turns to stare straight at the spot you're hiding. He purrs. Do you like what you see, Sugarbug? Am I committing to romancing this alien? I am. Sim smiles coyly. Good, he replies. He tosses his long hair over his shoulder and extends his hands, baring himself for your inspection. It is not a crime to be curious, he says. Why, I find myself very curious about you. You look your fill now that he's offered, and you find yourself constantly drawn back to his deep silver eyes and the hypnotic motion of his hair, and within moments you find yourself more relaxed? Sim's faint smile fills your vision, blanking out the rest of your senses. Do not be alarmed, he says. His voice sounds like it's coming out of the bottom of a well. I have the ability to induce a mild sedative effect in organic creatures. I find it useful in reducing their cortisol levels so that I may tend to them more easily. If you find it soothing, I would be happy to use it on you at your request. You simply have to ask. Take an even closer look. This time, you'll catch Sim doing something weird and alien. You send a survey drone to follow him and watch through your holopalm as he heads into the forest. He comes to a still pond and crouches by it, staring intently into the water. Then, with a flick of his wrist, he snatches an eel from the depths and bites its head clean off. Then he looks up at the drone and gives you a jaunty wave, as if he knew it was there all along. Wait, does Sim usually eat raw living animals, or was he just doing it because he knew you were trying to catch him doing something weird? Probably the second. Could you help me calm down? Of course, Sim murmurs, stepping into your space. His cool hands alight on your cheeks, tilting your head to look into his eyes. Within moments, you feel the burdens of your day lifting off your shoulders, like balloons floating away into the sky. Your consciousness reasserts itself sometime later, and you find yourself held in Sim's long arms. You blink away the brain fog and pull yourself together, thanking him for the experience. Sim smiles. It was my pleasure, Solane. Stay safe out there. Okay. Ooh, I can give him stuff? Sim examines the device for a moment, then hands it back to you. I think you better hold on to this, Solane, he says. You may need it later. But he does like them. Okay. I've got something for you. I knew it, Sim exclaims. I dreamed about it last night in my vat. In your what now? Sim waves his hands dismissively. Never mind, let me have the data drive. Yes, but answer a question first. Sim sighs and crosses his arms, but from his smile you can tell he's amused by your little game. Okay, I'll answer exactly one question, he allows. What is it? Oh, what's with those thumping ruins? I meant to say, are you gonna hurt us, but I figure he probably won't. As your surveyors suspect, they were made by those you call the Convergent Domain, he tells you. They built cities and created the gardeners, then ruined everything and left. About 20,000 years, give or take. They created you? Sim wags his finger. I said one question, and I've already told you too much. You hand over the data drive, and Sim takes it reverently, staring as if he could see what's inside. Marvelous, he says. Like a genetic payload, except with digital data instead of organic. What will I learn from this trove, I wonder? You're still puzzling over the implications of the phrase genetic payload as he continues. The other gardeners are so tedious and obsessed with their work, he complains. They're more concerned with maintaining equilibrium than experiencing new things. They don't understand that novelty is what makes life interesting. He slips the data drive into his sleeve. Thank you, Solane. I will treasure this. Aw. That's all I can do? I didn't even get any new fucking friendship with him or anything. You come across a float cow that seems to be ill. She's floating upside down, about a meter off the ground, kicking her segmented legs into the air periodically as trying to right herself. Her slitted eyes look at you imploringly. She makes a helpless, lowing noise and tries to flip over, but her ratio of gas to liquid must be unbalanced. Figure out what's wrong with her. You take a closer look at the float cow. You've heard they float using a certain ratio of liquid to gas in their membranous bladders, so after some consideration, you figure out that the bladder on her back must just be too full of liquid. Milk. It's hard to milk a float cow that's upside down. She struggles and kicks her legs as you try to flip her over long enough to get to her udders, but thanks to a combination of might and empathy, you manage to calm her down. She's still sick. Milk's supposed to collect in her lower udder, not her gas bladder, but at least she's balanced on her own now and has a chance to get well. As you come to a bend in the path, movement catches the corner of your eye. There's something up on top of a nearby mushroom-capped tree. You can't quite tell what it is, but is that a person? Sim peeks over the edge of a mushroom cap, grinning playfully like a Cheshire cat. I wouldn't go that way if I were you. Okay.
Let's go.
Some farmland is spilled outside of the walls. The fields don't look like they're doing very well. Nobody's around right now. In fact, it looks a little bit abandoned. Nothing's growing here anymore. There isn't even enough for animals to graze on. Plant something. What are you doing rooting around over here? Utopia comes out of the forest, a big grin on her face. Are you farming? You're in the wrong place. These fields haven't been worked in years. Everybody's moved inside the wall sweets. She kicks a clod of gray-pink dirt. Soil's just not good enough out here for growing earth crops. Besides, the animals get to it faster and we can chase them away. Try reporting to geoponics if you'd like to help out.
Shen, or you wanna
No.
shift over?
I'll do what I want to, thank you very much. There isn't a cloud in the sky, but yet it started to rain. You can't tell where it's coming from or whether it's even water. Given how this planet is full of surprises, it's probably some animal migration or airborne tree sap. Who knows? You have a strong desire to not be out in it.
Yeah, he asked you for like 10 minutes.
Find something to use as an umbrella.
Make bar.
You break off a large leaf on a long stem and hold it over your head.
Yeah,
It makes a
penis
pleasant
at
kind of
first.
thrum as the
Yeah,
drops
bro.
splatter on it.
Bro.
Geoponics has set up a work site. I want to look. You show up to the farmers with a wave and take a closer look at what they're doing. They ask if you want to help. Sure.
What the dog? What the dog do? What the dog do? What the dog do?
Could have gotten 34. Incorrect. You feel invigorated and you learn a little bit more about farming.
Or else what?
You stop for lunch eating an earth treat grown from your own greenhouses. A watermelon. Nice and sweet like a more solid potato pod. You munch away, spitting out the seeds. Suddenly, Sim materializes out of the trees. Hello, Selene. Is that a new... Oh. What is it that you're doing?
Are you
He
pregnant?
bends down and picks up a small black pip. This is its seeds, correct? Selene, this is an earth plant. It doesn't belong here. He pops the seed into his mouth and crunches it between his teeth. Not to play park ranger, but it is my job after all.
Nice.
Spit seeds at him! He exclaims, batting them away. You're only making more work for me, you know. You have decent aim with these things. You let your mind wander as you're walking and bumble straight into a field of gelatinous blobgrass. Totally transparent, the sticky fronds are hard to see, but even harder to ignore, especially once they start glomming to your boots and slowing you down. It's not worth do a perception challenge. I have max perception already. I don't need more. Besides, I think I can only do one or the other, so... As you come to a bend in the path, movement catches the corner of your eyes. There's something up on top. You can't tell quite what it is. Is that a person? No, you think he's gone now. You remember the warning, though. Are you sure you should go this way? Why not? You start to ask why, but he's disappeared again over the edge of the mushroom cap. You shout, but there's no answer. You can't even figure out a way to get up there. Can this guy fly? Or was it a mirage? You think you might be seeing things.
I mean, your normal white bread store closed.
You round the bend cautiously, expecting more slapgrass like last time. None. You advance cautiously through some thick underbrush. Suddenly you hear the growls of a manticore practically beside you. Your next thought is, how do I get down from this tree? And shortly up after that, how did I get up this tree? You're embarrassed, but at least you've outrun the manticore. If there even was one. Alright. Now we have max stress. Solid. It's Vertumnalia! Everyone's in high spirits as you decorate the colony square. The great tables are piled high with food. Hold on, I want to see. Groaning under the weight of heaps of roasted and steamed vegetables, barbecued meat, stews, carafes of mulled cider, and cakes dripping with frosting and sugarbug syrup. Lum is taken to the stage to fanfare and applause. Hello, people of Vertumna, he exclaims over the din. Happy Vertumnalia! He takes a big theatrical breath. Do you smell that? That's the smell of victory. We humans have secured our hold on this planet, and now it's time to celebrate. Lum gestures to the sagging feast tables. Eat, drink, and be merry. After the council members each give their annual reports, everyone starts clearing up the square to set up for the Vertumnalia games. You feel a pulse of a new holo message in your palm and open it up to read. Happy Vertumnalia, there's a present for you on the table. XOXO, your secret admirer. You rush over to the feast table and spot a wrapped present in among the roasted vegetables. Wow, you have a secret admirer? You unwrap your present, and it's a data band. You snap it on your wrist and boot it up on your holopalm. It's full of all your favorite songs, videos, shows, and games. A collection curated by someone who must really know you. Now you'll always have your media with you, even if your net goes down, including all your favorite episodes of the Rise and Fall of Sanctuary Moon. Nice. You search the holopalm for any hint as to who could have sent it, but you can't find anything. You'll have to ask around later. The games are about to begin. Probably gonna do the bake-off. You join Cal in the kitchens. Hey, Solane, he says. Are you ready to get your bake on? This year's theme is multi-layered cakes. She'll be in charge of designing, baking, assembling, and decorating a towering monument to sweet cake and frosting. Oh, God.
Damn, I didn't get the penta or the quad for steel. Yeah, it's the goat.
First one is free. I don't want a +1 to the card, though.
Yeah. How did they score? I wasn't paying attention. That's gay.
Okay. It's probably as close as we're gonna get. No, disagree. Your cake is an architectural marvel, easily in the running for the best thing anyone's ever created on Vertumna, that's for sure. That's really cute art. It's 4 tiers and decorated with delicate hand-sculpted floral details and piped frosting. It's delicious, too. The best part is eating it, of course. After the festivities, everyone descends on the feast. You heap your plate with more food than you can eat in 3 sittings. When all the food is gone and the sunset has broken the heat of day, people break out their instruments. Everyone dances well into the night. Hell yeah. It's mid-dust. Hey, Rex. Rex is lounging in a hammock he set up between 2 mushwood poles. It looks like he's snoozing, but his ears twitch and he opens one eye as you approach. Can't sneak up on me, Solane, he groans, stretching. People have tried. Someone gave you a data band. It might have been Rex.
Oh.
It's not, though. I already know it's not. I assume I can ask everybody and they're all gonna tell me no.
You saved your life, Dave.
I have a massive feeling it's fucking Sim. It's not gonna be Vase. Alright, I'll just start asking. Are you my secret admirer? I mean, would it be weird if I was? Oh, is this where you pick who you want to be your secret admirer? Well, a little weird. Oh.
Just like Iron Man.
Oh no!
Ghostborn man.
Aww. I'm sorry now. No, I was. Oh. Is it just whoever you pick, or is it actually supposed to be Anemone? Aww. I'm so sorry, Neb. Now I'm sad. Alright. I'm gonna survey the ridge. Oh, have things not respawned yet? You haven't been down into the deepest crevices of the ridges where crystals grow thick and the air is stagnant and dead. It's already sweltering on the ridges, but in the chasms you can see heat warping the air almost like a permanent fog. Utopia says the air's so thick and still you can't even use your glider down there. At least one thing survives in the haze, though. While you take a break for lunch one day, you can see flickers of silver dart in and out of the fog like ripples of light on a lake. As you pack your tiffin box, the silver flashes come up out of the fog and begin to surround you. They're animals, eyeless, almost translucent creatures about the length of your arm, trailing meters-long tentacles behind them. Their mournful hooting is magical and strange. You look them up on your holopalm. Oh, air squid babies. Wait, air squids are predators. Good enough. You duck behind some roots and keep perfectly still as the creepy creatures float around and past you. They don't seem to be hunting for food. They must be on their way somewhere. Air squid adults are solitary hunters, but these juveniles form large groups and move together fluidly like schools of fish. Once they're a safe distance away, you take some notes of their social behavior. The oddest thing was how many there were, hundreds of the things. But mature air squid are very rare creatures, more often heard than seen. It must be a tough life if so few of them reach adulthood. You're trudging along when they're suddenly buffeted by a hot wind. No, like a very hot wind. Lethally hot. The ridges are already baking, but all of a sudden it feels like you're trapped in a nuclear reactor. Your skin dries out and your lips begin to crack. Your eyeballs feel like sandpaper. Find the source. You take careful readings from a distance, triangulate them, and discover the source of the wind. A red, sports ball-sized crystal emanator hidden in a small crevice. When you smash it, it doesn't shatter like a crystal. It almost looks as if it could have been organic. Was it some kind of defensive barrier? Yet another mystery of these ridges. Oh! As you approach, Sim holds a finger to his lips and bids you approach quietly. Look through here, he whispers. Through a break in the trees, a small colt-like unisaur is taking its first halting steps in a small clearing. Its mother stands nearby, her sides heaving and gleaming with sweat. Just a few minutes old and already walking, Sim admires. Incredible, isn't it? Help me calm down. Easy. You come across a particularly flat area, a large field of obsidian. Well, obsidian is the only word you have for it, but you've never seen obsidian this bright. It's like a rainbow's trapped underneath its glossy black surface. Like the entire ground here is polished black opal.
Yeah, you might as well just trade them.
The fields glint under the sun at certain angles, momentarily blinding you. It looks slippery and shiny. Skate! 6.
You guys gotta play the whole year first.
Or I could do 4, 5. Oh.
Why would he just be a vet with us then? I didn't even know it was happening. I was just hitting him. That would have been bad. Yeah, the career stats.
Three, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah. Play,
Nice.
or we could play Overwatch.
You take off your shoes and glide around in your sock feet. You take a tumble and get a little bruised, but have a blast. Do some science while you're here. You find a patch that is a little different and take some readings. You confirm the material is not natural. It must have been created by the Convergent domain because it's made of the same stuff they make thumpers out of. Silica mixed with some trace organic elements. By looking at striations in the nearby cliffs, you determine that this entire region used to be covered in a thick sheet of this dark glass rock. In most places there is now a layer of soil over it, but if you dig far enough down, you'll probably find this layer everywhere. Like the whole place has been glassed. No wonder there are so few plants here. The Convergent domain must have paved this area to discourage plant life from forming. All except the crystals, which seem to sprout happily from the obsidian pavement.
To kill, so we're not having fun anymore.
Nice. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. I have my hands on the wrong keys.
Yes. Send me the link so I can up your offer by $1 repeatedly. Can't do that. That's not how eBay works.
Utopia has given you clearance to poke around the ruins in the secret valley. Stars, this place is neat. Diz thinks so too. At least we didn't have to climb back down again, he mutters, but you can tell he's excited. The buildings are arranged in a spiral formation around a central point. They're made of that oil-slick obsidian, something that looks like petrified bone, and have parts missing where some other organic material has long since rotted away. It's all overgrown with vines and buried in shifting sands. You follow the spokes of the streets until you approach the center of the valley, where a large pyramid-shaped building sits surrounding by thumpers of a variety of small other buildings. I'm gonna check out the pyramid. You walk all the way around a massive pyramid, but you don't see any entrance into it. It's sealed tight.
Oh.
It vibrates with significance and looms hugely in your dream memories. You feel faint just being close to it, but Diz doesn't seem to feel anything. When he insists you give up and investigate something else, you don't complain. The four thumpers are in careful alignment, forming a square with wide paths between them and the pyramid in the center. One is almost totally reduced to rubble. None are still active. Smaller, more deteriorated pyramid buildings dot around the valley, purposes unknown. There are also dozens of little obelisks a couple meters wide with a circular design on one side. You approach a random one of these on the edge of the valley. You lean on one of the round designs, and the iris dilates open, sections grinding back like the world's rustiest automated door. Now you're looking through a large round door into a small, featureless room. Quite small, quite featureless. Totally dark, very creepy, but you can hear a faint hum. It's still powered? Let's do it. I don't get to keep any of these between rounds, so 23 or 26. 26 is obviously better.
Probably.
Okay.
Hey, what time I got hit by the train? Alright, just got to go. Big cheese, any of us. Despite it is this, but who the hell is the candy van? Let's go.
Could have gotten 41. It's okay. You walk in, Diz close behind, and suddenly the iris closes and the floor lurches and you're moving down. An elevator! The elevator squeals and grinds away like it hasn't been used in literally thousands of years. It doesn't go far, then grinds to a halt and the iris opens to reveal a large room with obsidian walls. Like all convergent domain spaces, it's more cave than room, with stalactites everywhere and giant lumpy mounds of fungus. You wonder if the obsidian stuff they built with melts over time, running and dripping in extreme slow motion. There are consoles on all the walls, like this is some kind of control room maybe. Most of it is long dark and covered with a thick layer of dust, except one device with two weird, bony, knobby sticks poking out of it. Touch stuff! You poke at things and grab sticks at random until suddenly, you cease to be yourself. You're like a visual, audio, and weirdly tactile representation of something vast. You have a feeling of being in a large and complex space. No, like you are the space. A a digital space like a computer system, and as if you were sucked inside a 3D representation of the HoloNet, and you could see files and processes in the whole world of data, but in alien formats that speak to you more in sensation than logic. You let go of the sticks and the console room comes back. You grab them again and understanding fills your head. It feels not all that different from your bouts of deja vu of remembering. Like of memories being inserted into your mind and you suddenly just know how to use this interface. You just think where you want to go or what you want to know and away you go. The word array comes to mind. A network of computers hosting millions of data nodes, information on every part of the planet from weather to soil conditions to individual creatures. Not just computers, but entities that feel intelligent, and also digital artificial consciousnesses like your ship's AI congruence. They're processing all that data and triggering subroutines to make minute changes on the planet's surface. Then a booming voice enters your brain and obliterates all else, speaking more in abstract thoughts than words, but loud. What are you doing in Wormhole Observatory Array Console 5? You nosy little creature. Then an explosion in your head and you're thrown backwards and out of the array. There must have also been an explosion in your hands, which are now singed. The console is blown out and dead. You're shaken. Something didn't like you poking around in there. Whatever the array is, whatever lives in it and has been watching you, probably since you've landed. You have a feeling Sim has something to do with this. He's either in league with the array or he's part of it. But knowing Sim, he won't tell you anything unless he's ready to. You tell Diz about the array and the voice saying Wormhole Observatory. He looks around impressed. The convergent domain was sure up to some shit, he says. You now know that about the array and how to access it. That could come in very useful if it turns out to be a danger to your colony. You decide to call it a day. Your arms feel all tingly and weak from getting electrocuted and your heart is still thumping a mile a minute, but you'll be back. Can I talk to... what's his fuck? If I even remember where he is. You're scaling a huge rock plateau when you're suddenly overcome with an incredible feeling of peace. You've never felt anything like this. You literally feel lighter, like all of your troubles have been lifted away. The feeling is stronger when you touch the rocky surface and you realize it's radiating from the rock. And Diz is here! Diz is setting himself on top of the rock, stripped down to his shirt. He looks up at you. He looks up as your shadow falls over him. Oh, he says slowly. You found it too, huh? Oh, this must be the place Diz told you about. His favorite place on the planet, the rock that makes him feel happy. You know how he feels now. He shades his eyes from the sun and looks up at you. I haven't told anyone about this place, he says. Well, except for you. That's how they get you, you know, he says. Once they know you love something, they can use it to control you. Who's they? Diz gestures lazily. You know, people, the world, life, he says. I like this place because it feels like it's somewhere where I'm not just a cog in the machine, you know? You're gonna keep it a secret, though, right? Diz asks. I don't want this place dug up and studied. It'll ruin it. He scowls. People always ruin things, especially researchers. Some things you don't need to understand. Okay, it's our secret. You do take a few readings, though, just because. All data is important. You mark down the location, but fudge the coordinates so anyone they send out afterwards will get lost. You wonder if the rock is natural. Animals seem to really like it. As you're taking readings, you watch a swarm of Dorbs moth basking on the rock as well, just like Diz. Then you lie down on the rock beside Diz, letting the strange magic fill you with an incredible sense of peace, love, and unity with the universe. Well, that gave me an extra free thing.
I ate your sleep for you.
I am curious if there's another yellow. It doesn't look like it's... Doesn't look like it. Okay.
Forgot to hit the button that tells me after spawn.
The flies here are awful. They come out in the heat of the day and buzz around you incessantly. They don't bite, but they seem to want something from you. Maybe the water or salt from your sweat? You hope they aren't laying eggs. Diz calls the most annoying ones rod flies because they're like long, flexible sticks with a bunch of wings. They swarm in clouds around your face no matter how hard you try to shoo them away. He says they remind him of Mars. But there are a couple other ones too, like the one that's just one big eyeball with a couple pairs of little wings. They make a large buzzing sound and are always just out of reach when you try to swat them away. Today, your personal nemesis is one of these eye flies. There was a whole bunch of them earlier, but only one has persisted. It's following you, staring at you all morning. You and Diz have been batting at it for an hour, but it's a fast dodger. Diz has finally given up and just plods forward. It even lands on his head, but he doesn't care.
That's out of bullets!
Using Diz's strength, you find a sense of peace deep down and just block out the incessant buzzing. You're too worn out to continue. Aww. It's late dust, which it's someone's birthday now. It's Cal's birthday. Nice. I'm gonna relax on the walls. Diz gives you a short nod as you climb up onto the walls and take your place nearby. He's good company if you're looking for the kind of company that leaves you alone and doesn't bother you very much. He's looking for the same. You're a good match for each other that way. And now it's gonna be wet season. Diz wants to talk. What's up, Diz? You head out of the colony to find Diz, and you do, as well as Rhett and Utopia, who have teamed up to talk to Diz about something that has him scowling deeply. It was different before the attacks, you hear Utopia say. But you're older now, and when you're on expedition, you can get into a lot more danger than when you were just a little kid going on a walkabout. When you're out there on my team, I'm counting on you to do as you're told and be where you said you'd be. She gestures beseechingly. What am I gonna do if something happens to you out there, kid? What if you disappear one day and you're hurt and no one knows where to find you? What if... I'll be fine, Diz cuts her off. I can take care of myself. And if I can't, that's on me. Okay, edgy. That's not how it works here, Brett says, his voice stern. You're not just putting yourself in danger out there, you're putting the whole colony in danger. I know you're a bit of a loner, son, but you have a family here. All of us. We're all your family. We're gonna send people out to find you, and what if they get into the same trouble you did, he continues. We're counting on you to follow directions out there to keep everyone safe, not just yourself. What if I don't want to be found? Diz explodes, waving his arms. What if I want to be left the hell alone? Rhett and Utopia are stunned by Diz's outburst. Rhett opens his mouth to respond, but Diz talks over him. If I don't come back, just leave me out there, he spits. If this planet wants me dead, maybe I deserve it, huh? Don't you ever think about that? Maybe I deserve to die out there. Maybe we all do. With that, Diz stomps away. Rhett and Utopia look stunned. Okay, edgy. You follow Diz around the outer wall of the colony to where he's angrily pulling things out of the drain pipe hiding hole he's long since outgrown. Stupid humans, he grumbles, stuffing what looks like a bedroll into a carrying bag. They never think of anything except... Oh, he continues, trailing off when he sees you. What do you want? Are you okay? I'm great, Diz mutters. Just awesome, actually. Yeah, thanks for asking. You watch him pull things from his hideaway and throw them into 2 piles. Screw this colony, he says. I didn't ask to be a part of it. I don't need it. I don't need anyone. I'm better off living in the woods like an animal. At least that's real. He reaches in far and pulls out a busted-looking, busted-up-looking mechanical device. His old alien communicator he made using gear he stole from Command. Geez, he laughs. Guess I don't need this anymore. I understand. Do what you need to do. Diz nods. Thank you, Solane. I'd hoped you'd understand. Diz finishes packing up stuff that he's going to keep, which barely amounts to a full backpack. He straps it onto his back and nods at you, determined. Did I ever tell you my full name? He asks, seemingly randomly. No, you didn't. Diz smiles a little at that with the corners of his mouth as he helps a self-deprecating laugh. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have. It sucks, honestly. It's dysmithia. Dysthymia. Dysthymia? What does it mean? Diz takes a breath and lets it all out, his shoulders slumping. It means being sad. What a joke, right? Who names their kid that? He shakes his head. Aunt Anne always talks about how babies make everyone happier. Was my mom sad before she had me and Tange? Or did having us make her sad? His smile twists. Was it me? Was I the reason? Diz scuffs his boot in the dirt. Whatever, he mumbles. No one's cared about me basically ever, since before I was born. My own mom didn't love me, the one person you think who could. He looks up at the sky and blinks rapidly. Whatever, he repeats. I'm out of here. Thanks for everything, Solane. You're the one good thing about this shithole. I'm gonna miss you. You throw your arms around Diz, who grunts and pats your back awkwardly. He doesn't relax until you finally relent and let him go. You watch him disappear through between the fungal trees. Within minutes, he's out of sight. You're getting ready for bed later that day when you receive a colony-wide announcement through your holopalm. It reads as follows. Colony notice. Reminded that there are to be no unauthorized trips outside the walls without prior Reminded that there are to be no unauthorized trips outside of the wall without prior authorization from the Expedition's command. Anyone caught in violation of this rule will be punished. This includes going for a walk. It is dangerous outside the walls and is only to be done by trained and armed professionals. Thank you, Command. How about that? You send us a message. Question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. Diz messaged you back immediately with just a picture of a knife. You're guessing he didn't get very far. Bullshit.
Push.
Isn't someone's birthday? I guess not. I thought someone's birthday was in wet. Diz's eyes light up when he sees your gift. Whoa, he says, taking them from you with an uncharacteristic delight. Is this... Where did you find this? It looks like it's some kind of alien artifact. It's gotta be. Well, I'm glad you enjoy that. I can make extra money. I am so close to having high enough bravery to do anything. That's so annoying. It needs to be 66.
Having a great time, having a great time.
New boss event spawned. Out I go, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's assist too. That doesn't matter. They have like 4 kills.
There's a strange heat haze shimmer across the path ahead. Oddly, it doesn't clear up as you get closer. The mirage effect is very strong. The refracted air makes it look like there's a pool of water on the ground and plants waving around it, but something is just off about the illusion. You can't put your finger on why. Investigate. 654.
Yeah, it was quite good. Guys, dumb as well.
Wait. Ah. Okay. Whatever.
Yeah, that was a weird flick. Whatever.
The faster you move, the faster the mirage disperses. You approach cautiously. As you do, you realize what is wrong about the mirage. It's impossible. The plants on the other side of the haze are different, not just wibbly-wobbly from the layers of air, but bigger and older, and it's a different time of day, evening, not morning. Then you see her. It's you. Through the heat haze, you see yourself in the distance walking towards you. You move to the edge of the mirage and peek around it, but she isn't there. You can only see her through the heat haze like some kind of doorway or a mirror. Just watch. You stare at the figure, the person who looks and moves exactly like you. Then you both slowly, carefully approach the mirage, and like mirror images, you both raise one arm, your right and her left, and touch them together. The other you says something, but you can't hear. You can only see the lips move. Is it important? A message from the other you? You're desperate to know, but the mirage fades. Alright. Said a boss event respawn, which I'm assuming means a yellow. Oh, it's the wrong way.
Yeah, I have one.
Oh, Sim wants to talk? For once, you see Sim before he sees you. He's crouched just off the path, staring at a flower, his face blank. He doesn't react as you approach, so you watch him for a while. He's so perfectly motionless, you'd think he was a plant too. His eyes are unfocused. Is he accessing some kind of mental interface? Eventually, you clear your throat. Sim carefully stands up and turns to face you. For a moment, you're not sure if he recognizes you, but then he tosses his head and grins, and a grin leaps to his face. Solane, you caught me checking in with the boss. You have a boss? My boss? As I told you, they aren't very fond of change. He replies, they're also very much like your boss. What's she named? Utopia? He tilts his head to the side. Her name word is fitting, isn't it? He lays one finger against his chin. I appreciate that she always reminds you not to get yourself killed. I'd wish you listened to her. She gave me a job to do. And I have my job, Sim replies, which is to protect this place. He laughs. Protecting you seems to be my hobby. If the boss finds out I'm talking to you, I'd be in trouble. So shh, he murmurs and puts his finger to his lips. Then why keep talking to me? Sim smiles warmly. Because you're the girl of my dreams, literally, he replies. I can't seem to stay away from you. And because you humans are different, he continues. I'm so bored of everyone else on this planet. The other gardeners, my boss, they have everything on Vertumna just the way they like it, and they don't want the teeniest thing to change. He sighs. It's boring. See that tree? Sim points to a large tree with many long limbs dripping from it and embedded in the ground. That tree was a small creature for part of its life cycle. You call it the Vricky. Hey, I have one of those. Once it plants its roots, that's where it stays for the rest of its life. The gardeners spend time as trees too, sometimes hundreds of years. If you do that enough, you'll start to think like a tree, set in your ways. He spreads his hands, an earnest expression on his face. When I watch you, when I talk to you and learn about your species, I feel inspired. I feel young again. Wait, how old are you? I like to think I'm young at heart, Sim replies with a mischievous smile. You have so many more questions for this man, or gardener, or whatever he is. But as soon as you open your mouth to ask another, Sim cocks his head as if listening and hold up a hand. I'm sorry, he says, looking for all the world like he's listening to a dang flower. But I must away. And with that he's gone, off to protect the wild or rescue damsels or whatever. Or maybe he's just avoiding your questions.
Whatever.
It's probably just avoiding my questions, but we'll let it go. Yep, this is back. You and Diz are exploring the ruined wormhole observatory again. It feels so familiar. You've dreamed about this place many times, and it's like you're just remembering it all now. This time, the dream memories grip you. You wander as if sleepwalking down familiar paths. You look up and see the wormhole faint in the sky above. The time is right to observe it. Alright, hold on. Okay. Oh. Diz tries to keep up. Where are you going? He asks angrily. You don't answer. You're trying to concentrate on finding the place. You approach the large pyramid in the center of the complex. Beside it is one of the smaller elevators, a little monolith with a round iris door. This is the place. Your head throbs with it. Even standing outside, you know there is something down there. Find a way in. You look for one of those elevator monoliths near the pyramid and find it, but it's overgrown with snaking vines and brambles, and with very large flowers all over. You could push through them, but Diz stops you and shows you a Geiger count reading on his holopalm. These flowers seem to be radioactive. Your suit won't protect you for long. You snag a sample so you could study later in geoponics. Push through. You soon realize your mistake as the radiation illness sets in. Brushing by those flowers gave you a big dose. You'll be sick for days and need radiation treatment when you return. But for now you continue, drawn irresistibly forward by something that sings in your head. You enter the elevator, thankfully still working, and descend beneath the ground. It opens to kind of an antechamber room with an exit at the other end leading to the heart of the pyramid. There are glyphs carved into the crystal panes on the walls, symbols that resemble the wormhole. You start across the room. The further you go, the more your head swims. You have to pause. You think you might faint, and it isn't just the radiation. There's something down here, some great energy, and it's making your head hurt. You shake your head, trying to clear it. Wait, maybe this is a bad idea.
I'm pretty sure I would be fine as long as...
The fog slowly clears from your eyes. Your head still hurts, but you can think again. Diz looks concerned, even going so far as to reach out to steady you. Are you okay? Try to explain it. It's hard to put into words. You just say, my head hurts. Obviously, he says, but no, it's more than that. You're seeing things. It's kind of like the array, and kind of like a dream. But you feel that something super important is up ahead, and you need to see it. Maybe we better leave, Diz says nervously. You don't look so good. Past the antechamber. Ooh. Past the antechamber is a long hallway sloping down. Things around you are starting to look kind of weird, like two slightly different realities overlapping. Diz's face is starting to phase in and out of existence. You're hit by a strong wave of dizziness and nausea. Things seem to move in slow motion and also far too fast. You lean over and you slip unconscious. When you wake, you're back at the collection site. Diz must have dragged you out and then called for help. Your headache gone, and a medical scan shows nothing wrong with you, but you completely feel weakened and drained. Alright. So I need +1 toughness. Or... I don't know what the other one was. I didn't get to look at it. I'm gonna go investigate the flowers. Back in the lab, you have all the right equipment to properly examine that radioactive plant you found. Maybe you can find a way to protect yourself from them so you don't need to drag a radiation-proof virus suit every time you go to that part of the planet. I'm nowhere near 40 for engineering. Radiation poisoning isn't the killer it used to be on Earth. With medbeds, you can flush out deadly doses of radiation in a few hours. It could still make you really sick, though, and high enough doses could kill you before you're even able to reach a medbed. How confident are you that you know how to protect yourself? I think I'll be okay. You take a careless approach to protecting yourself from the radiation. It can't be so bad that you won't be able to get to a medbed in time, right? You wear gloves and a face shield and get to work. After about a few hours, you start feeling dizzy. The dizziness quickly becomes nausea, and while you're puking your guts out into a bucket, you hate to admit that you're probably feeling the effects of radiation poisoning. Radiation poisoning? Who could have predicted that? You're not done with your experiment, though. Keep going. It's fine. Oh, indestructible youth. What's a little hair loss and diarrhea? It's just a plant. You're better than a plant. This might be one of the dumbest things you've ever done. You'll be in medbay wishing it killed you for at least a week, but you did complete your experiment. You discover that the radioactive part of the plant is confined to the carpel of the flower, its reproductive organ, and that the petals act as a radioactive shield to protect the rest of the plant. If you press the center of the flower, the petals close and block the radiation enough that a person can pass by without feeling sick. Neat. You should be able to use this to protect yourself next time you encounter the plant in the wild. 6, 7, 4.
Nice damage. Nice damage, Matt.
What? Bullshit. We are close with biology. I have max stress. Okay.
I'm fine, dude.
The view from the top of the towers is stunning. In almost every direction, you see untouched beauty of autumnus spilling out before you. Well, except for where they've cut down a bunch of mush trees, and where the expedition vehicles have churned up dirt, and where the drainage system has made a big muddy puddle, and now we're into the terrible part of the year.
They're also low.
I need more toughness.
Coming into second TT. Soldiers coming around. Soldiers coming around.
Training in the dark is really hard. You lose a lot of sports balls under the bleachers and in dark corners this month. You submit a request to engineering to make some sort of glow-in-the-dark paint so that it's easier to spot the ball, but it gets rejected for not being a priority concern. 9, 8, 6.
That was huge. Echo just wasn't able to fly. I'm also killing it. If I wasn't, it would not be as good.
There we go. You worked well this month. Plus 6 bravery, plus 1 toughness. You're lying in bed, staring at the wormhole through your window when you hear a deep thump resonate through the ground, then a second one, quieter. The woven roof of your room quivers, unleashing a season's worth of fine glowing dust to sift through the air. Through your open window, you hear voices sounding the alarm. The annual offense is here, and leading the charge are 2 massive faceless. I gotta join the fray. You grab a plas rifle and report to the front, where a line of soldiers have taken up arms and are waiting for orders. The colony prepares to defend itself against the 2 building-scale faceless, as well as a teeming swarm of smaller Xenos that seethe towards you. Hold steady, orders Security Chief Rhett. Keep the line. No, Governor Lum yells, running from the front gates to the front of the defensive line. He elbows Rhett out of the way and waves his arm wildly. Bring them closer. Draw them in. Rhett stops himself from shoving Lum back, but just barely, you can tell. Are you serious, he retorts. We can't let them any further into the colony. We're going to fight them on our territory, Lum cries, raising his plas rifle over his head with one hand. We have the walls. Let's use them. We'll let them come inside and pick them off one by one. We can't pick off a faceless, Rhett sputters from the sidelines. Lum smiles maniacally. You can see the gleam of his teeth from here.
What is going
I have a
on?
plan, he roars. Just follow my lead. And with that, he turns and begins to run towards the approaching animals, roaring taunts and firing wildly into the fray to draw them close. At a loss, Rhett motions you all to fall back and let the animals approach. The area just inside the gates become a swirling melee of smaller Xenos and plas rifle fires, and the 2 faceless lumbering slowly behind. Try to stay out of the way. 8. 6, 5, 4.
Got my ult.
It's not bad.
Harper scored. I'm not using my ult. They just ult it. I like Orisa a lot. This champion's awesome. First time playing this person, by the way. I think I can headshot people too. I feel like a DPS.
You're not exactly a professional soldier, but you managed to hold your own against the Xenos, even though you still scream and retreat when something gets too close. You don't injure any humans with your plas rifle, at least. Out of the artillery smoke wafting over the battlefield, Lum comes running. Here they come! Here they come! He shouts joyfully and plows through the gates with the two faceless galloping behind him. It's without a doubt idiotic and horrendously dangerous. You can't help it. You hit record on your holopalm and film the ensuing chaos. You catch a glimpse of Chief Rhett putting his hand over his face and sighing.
Let's wipe him here like we have every time.
A squad of Helio soldiers takes up the charge and helps shepherd the Faceless into the open area of the middle of the colony. You have horrible flashbacks to the first time you saw a Faceless inside these walls. From looks on the faces of the other Stratos, you're not the only one. Then you're all thrown to the ground by a tremendous explosion. Fire engulfs the center square, roasting the two Faceless in an inferno that blasts the sweat from your pores. Rocks and chunks of dirt patter all around you, with the occasional thunk of burning mushwood. Those soldiers nearest the blaze all recoil in surprise. Clearly, no one but Lum knew that the square had been rigged with explosives. You don't think anyone was caught in the blast, but it was close. Lum stands before the blaze, laughing and firing at the two tortured Faceless as they roast to death. You raise your holopalm to capture the image, his silhouette dark against the column of flame and smoke. It was ridiculously dangerous and stupid, but it does look pretty cool in your recorded footage. People filter out of their hiding places, shielding their faces from the heat coming off the bonfire in the middle of the square. On the horizon, the first watery rays of quiet sunrise are struggling to make a dent in the hot orange glare. The colony's fire suppression system is turned on the square, revealing the charred corpses of the two Faceless. Utopia walks by with a reclamation team hauling an industrial plas cutter onto a hover lift. Did he use the mining explosives? Utopia says in awe. Mighty bold of him. Those things will blow a hole in the mountain, or a creature, I suppose. She sighs. Wish he could have saved him for mining. That must have been the last of them, and we sure can't make any more. Then her and her crew are out of earshot as they pick her way down the blast crater to carve up the Faceless for recycling. Fortunately, the colony was well defended. You and the other colonists have been fortifying the defenses, putting security above all else. Tonight's defense was still resounding, if messy. Tonight's defense was still a resounding, if messy, success. But if Utopia is right, you don't have any more of those explosives now. You can't just nanoprint unstable molecules like that. What are you gonna do during the next attack? We'll figure it out. We're older! Oh, that's nice.
I got people to kill.
Everyone's older! Over the years, a lot of people have started wearing a lot less clothing than you remember from when you were growing up in the climate-controlled stratospheric. Definitely a lot less than the holovids you brought from Earth. Rex, though. Rex has really acclimated to Vertumna's hot, sultry weather.
So I pushed them all near old, and then I just started headshotting.
Oh, I guess it really depends. Which one are we really... Oh, 40. That's nice.
Oh!
Take your own shirt off in solidarity. Aw, heck yeah, Rex says, flashing you a double thumbs up as you free yourself from your shirt. Good to know I'm not the only one suffering out here. We're not all superhuman never sweats Cal. He laughs and runs his hand over his bare stomach. Sometimes you gotta relax and let it all hang out. You let it all hang out with Rex for a while, letting him chatter about life on the Helio and how different it is here in the colony. I really appreciate that people just don't expect me to be a soldier, he says. We had civilians on the Helio, but it was kind of like they were just cooks and janitors and stuff. After graduating school, which was like basic military training, if you wanted to have fun, there were only a few choices. You must have found a few ways to have fun. Rex smiles a little softer than usual. Yeah, I had Nomi, he says quietly. We were the misfits together. No matter what, we'll always have each other. Hi, Nomi. Wow. Oh, she's so pretty.
Hold up. They just turned Sigma off the rankings, so something was fucked up last game.
You find Mars frowning over a textbook on her hollow. She flips through the pages with growing disgust until finally she gestures angrily to dismiss the screen and then drags her hands down her face. Ah, she exclaims, people totally suck. You slide into the seat next to Mars and she sighs. I told my dads about my plan to get the adults to adopt Kudos as a way to encourage the arts, and they got really weird about it. Like, they think it's a good idea, but then they told me that I should read up about Earth's history. So I did, and you know what I found out? People suck. The whole reason we left Earth was because trading money for stuff was a bad idea. It made a few people rich and everyone else poor, and it destroyed all the culture, and people fought and killed over it. By the time our parents left Earth, almost everyone worked super hard and was super poor, while like 100 people barely worked at all and all owned private spacecraft. That's so dumb. This colony is the closest humans have come to income equality in 1,000 years, but we don't have any passion. And Earth's history is full of people with passion who end up turning into supervillains while everyone else starves, Mars says, crossing her arms. Is that all we're capable of? Really? She looks at you intently and puts her hand over her heart. I'm a passionate person, Solane. Is being a despot really all I'm capable of? You're gonna have to work at it. Mars nods with a conviction. You're right, Solane. I'm glad I can always count on you to remind me to be better. There has to be a middle ground between austerity and inequality, Mars continues. I don't want to have everything while everyone else has nothing. Like, yes, obviously I want to colonize this stupid rock, Mars continues. I want massive cities and glass skyscrapers and flying cars. I want to have to not fight off aliens every year. I want to pave over all these scungy pollen trees and kill the stupid bugs. I want air conditioning. I just want everyone to have everything, even the stuff that the adults think don't matter. We can't live like animals just because of the boogeymen of our past. One day, I'm gonna be running this place, Mars says. Just you wait, Solane. I'm not gonna let us fall into the same patterns we did on Earth. We have to take care of each other and master this planet, but we can't forget what makes life worth living. Luxury. What do you think, Solane? Mars asks. Do you think I'm on the right track? How do we avoid past mistakes? Well, I mean... Mars starts, then furrows her brow in thought. I mean, I guess I thought because we're already starting out equal, people would just be better? She frowns. You're right. It seems like wishful thinking, doesn't it? Well, at least I have you to bring me back to Earth. I mean, Vertumna. Mars smiles and clasps your shoulder. Thank you, Solane. You always think of things I don't. I really appreciate that about you. She is so pretty now. I have to look at everybody. Hold on. Okay. 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 I'm definitely gonna have to replay this game and, like, actually romance everybody. Hello? What the hell? When did you get tattoos? This war, Diz says, staring out into the wilderness. It doesn't make any sense. What are we really fighting, anyway? Nature? So when will it be over? When the planet is empty except for humans? Diz shakes his head. Sounds awful. I don't really remember what you looked like before. Yeah, you pretty much look the same. Pretty lady. You're a hero, Nem says, taking the egg, and I'm starving. I'm gonna get the kitchen to cook this up right away. Pretty lady! Tanja sitting before an array of hollow screens all showing different graphs. Making decisions based on the mistakes of humans we purposely left behind on Earth is foolishness, she says, between bites of a protein bar. We may as well ask the stars for guidance, like astrologers. No, I will not be taking questions at this time. Yes, that's what I was hoping for. You spot Tange sitting on a large boulder outside the lab. She's eating a pressed soybean ration with determination, alternating bites with huge gulps of water to wash it down as quickly as possible. What are you doing out here? She stops her grim work long enough to acknowledge your question. I hit the limit on the number of consecutive hours they'll allow me to work in the lab, she says. So I'm taking a break, she says, making mocking air quotes around the sentence. How dare they? That's what I said, Tange replies. They think they can boss me around just because I'm younger. She scoffs. I'm smarter than any two of them combined.
You can even support us, right?
Ugh, Tange says and rubs her bloodshot eyes. I just want to work, you know? It's so frustrating to be deep in the zone and feeling like I'm just on the precipice of a discovery, and then someone tells me that apparently my genius is taking too long. I want them to treat me like I belong there, the way Dr. Instance does, Tange mutters. She actually respects me. They're just jealous that she likes me more. Tange slides off the boulder and you see color bleed from her face as she stumbles into you, nearly crumbling to the ground. Oh, she grits out, leaning over while the dizziness passes. I thought the nutritional uptake of that bar would be quicker than a real meal, especially after taking into account the time required to walk to the cafeteria. She trails off, realizing she's clutching your jacket, and pushes you away. My apologies, she says, brushing herself off. I am, regrettably it seems, only human. Tange scrubs her hands over her face. Ugh, sometimes it feels like I'm a prisoner trapped in my own body. Like I can feel myself trapped in it, this stinking, sweating bag of meat and bad impulses, stuck with the burden of keeping it alive every day for the rest of my life, and... Her voice breaks. Tange takes a few seconds to compose herself, blotting her eyes daintily with her knuckles. It's just this resentment for my physical form. It reminds me of when I was little, and Instance used the gene tech to give me this body. The right body. Only this body's wrong too, she adds quietly. It's right in a lot of ways, but it's still imperfect. It's still human. If I were an AI, everything would be more simple. I could just do my work. I could just do what I'm good at. No messy biological functions, no emotions, just clear and beautiful purpose. I hate this, Tange sniffles. I hate feeling like this. I'm always here to listen. Tange manages a watery smile as she wipes her eyes. Thanks, she says. I apologize for being all wet on you. It won't happen again. She wipes her eyes and straightens her jacket and then takes a deep breath and holds it for 10 seconds. Her eyes closed. By the time she opens them again, she looks ready to go back to work as if nothing has happened. You admire Tange's determination, but sometimes you think it might come at a price. Understandable, though. I don't know if I actually looked at Nomi's design. It is quite cute. They are quite adorable. Okay, is that all the kids? I think so. All events have respawned everywhere. We're gonna go back to the ridge, though. We gotta. I do love not having to actually interact with all of these events. This should be where Sim is, right? Slightly further down? Yep. You're enjoying a relatively uneventful second son of taking readings for one of Utopia's geological surveys when your world shifts on an unnatural axis as Sim comes crashing seemingly out of thin air, grappling with a skyfish almost as big as he is. Look out, he calls to you, though it's far too late for that. The ground rushes up to meet you, and it's all you can do to close your eyes and protect your head. To make matters worse, in the ensuing tussle, they completely crush the delicate scanning equipment you just finished setting up. Utopia was going to be so upset. Ouch. You pick yourself up and give yourself a cursory once-over. Nothing is broken, but you feel pretty banged up. You'll probably find a bunch of new ways to feel pain over the next day or so. The skyfish flops around pitifully and then springs back into the sky and flies away, trolling in distress. It didn't even look dangerous, really. Solane, Sim croaks, and you turn your attention to him. Uh-oh, blood is pouring from a wound on his chest where one of the skyfish's spines must have pierced his otherwise perfect skin. It's the kind of thing that will definitely leave a scar or worse. Holding the wound closed, Sim smiles sheepishly. I guess my future sight isn't always 2020. You can see the future? Yeah, you can say that again, or holy shit, are you gonna be okay? Holy shit, are you gonna be okay? He waves dismissively with, the hand that's not holding his ding-dang chest together. "'Tis but a flesh wound," he says, then smiles. Did I say it right? It's one of your Earth movies. It's from one of your Earth movies. I quite liked it. He coughs. He and I are similarly difficult to kill completely. He's quoting Monty Python and the Holy Grail. He's quoting the Black Knight after he gets all his fucking limbs chopped off. He grins. You think it's a coincidence that I'm always there at exactly the right time to save you? At night when I'm asleep, he corrects himself. I sometimes see visions of things that are going to happen. Or at least that could happen. My dreams aren't always true, Sim says, wincing as he applies pressure to the wound. The paths branch and converge. Time is like a web more than a line, I think. He smiles weakly, but always in the center there's you. You're at the center of my web too. Sim coughs. I'm flattered, Sugarbug. I didn't know you thought of me that way. I can't tell you how this future sight works, Sim continues. To be honest, I don't even know. But if you're curious, he's clearly grappling with something and not just the sluggishly bleeding wound in his chest. His voice drops. You might look for answers under the light of the wormhole and glow, he confesses. You press him for more, but he begs you to simply leave him to handle his injury in peace. You almost walk straight into Sim's feet before you see the man. Watch out, Sim says from where he's seated on a branch above you. You should be more cautious. It's a dangerous planet. You notice the puncture wound from his chest is gone. From the other day is gone. Wow, fast healer. I want to give you a log. Sim examines your gift in great detail and asks various questions about where you found it. He hums to himself as he turns it over in his hands, a broad smile on his face. Remarkable, Solane, just remarkable, he says as he hands it back to you. You are truly the most thoughtful of gift givers. I have enjoyed your present to the fullest. You try to explain that he can keep it, but he just smiles again and shakes his head. Bring down my fucking distress, please. After you raised it. Utopia. Utopia has sent a team of geologists to get a closer look at this region's weird terrain. You come across them working, and Utopia beckons you over. Solane, she says, drawing everyone's attention to you. Solane, come here. Everyone, Solane's been working in this area for a while, and I'm sure she's got plenty of information on what's out here. Geologists politely turn towards you and listen. Here's what we got so far, Utopia says, speaking directly to you. Judging from how the layers of sedimentation are broken up, this place used to be pretty flat for them. There must have been a ton of earthquake activity ripping up the land and bringing up these huge ridges. We can date the quakes to around the time a lot of these ruins were created, she adds. And we're looking, but we haven't seen anything that built after that. Haven't seen anything built after them. Like, that was it for the old convergent domain. These broken up layers are the same across the planet. Something sure happened about 20,000 years ago. You explain that below the sand there's a thick layer of the dark silica crystal obsidian stuff the convergent domain used. Utopia nods. Right, you can see it in the striations, right? Or yeah? It's one of the major landmarks in the geological timeline. Obsidian and earthquakes are both associated with volcanoes, but there are no volcanoes here. Not even a fault line, Utopia says, wiping her forehead. She's just not natural. You share your finding on the Gardener's Array. The what now? Utopia asks. I ain't never heard of it, she says, and all the geologists exchange similar looks. You explain that the convergent domain had this huge computer network, and some of it is still running. It was used to study and maintain the planet. It might even be dangerous. Utopia doesn't look convinced, but, Utopia doesn't look convinced. I'm not one to throw out a theory, but that's pretty far-fetched, Solane. All we've seen are ruins. She squints and thinks it over. Well, if that's true, maybe something went wrong with this array and it overloaded all the solar crystals. That level of cataclysm disaster is the sort of thing that might end a civilization. I'm not gonna mention Sim.
Awful.
There is simply no need to. They do not need to know about him. The thudding is happening, which means it's over here. And this time I won't get irradiated. You return with Diz to the pyramid in the ruined wormhole observatory. The headache building. This again? Diz asks, unsure. Are you sure you want to go in there? You approach the large building in the center of the complex. Beside it is one of the smaller elevators. Da-da-da-da. This is the place. Solane, is this building hurting you? Diz asks when he sees you rubbing your temple. We've already done this. Neutralize the radiation. Pass on by, no problem. Good thing you studied this plant earlier and know all of its wily ways. Tickle it just so, and the radioactive flowers close. It parts to let you through. You enter the elevator. We've done this part. You start across the room. Keep going. The fog clears from your eyes. Keep going. Tough it out. You keep going. At the bottom of the hallway are more crystal panels on the wall, many facets broken. Are they whole? The walls have crumbled and roots creep over everything, but also they don't. Every time you blink, the room seems to flip and swim between the two realities. All the same, you feel absolutely compelled to continue. What is with this place? Diz is both there and not there. The part of him which exists looks concerned. We need to leave, now, he says. This place is hurting you. There's a round iris door at the end of the hallway. Are you sure you want to go any further? You pass through the doorway into a large square chamber with a sloping ceiling. Your sense of this place, of the vibrations, is telling you you must be directly under the big pyramid on the surface. The floor and even the air here thrums with the vibrating energy. Ugh, even I can feel it now. Diz mutters behind you, rubbing his head. The room is empty except for a raised platform in the middle, which looks enticingly like a bed, which is convenient because you are definitely going to faint this time. You collapse onto the platform and are overcome by a spectacular migraine headache. It feels like your head is going to explode. We gotta try! The 90? Oh, motherfucker, we are not getting this one.
Hey, I have a 63 damage code in that.
We're not getting this one.
Back up, back up. Oh, I need heal. Thank you.
It is just straight up not happening. Oh god.
Bro! Why aren't they... Notice my healers are fucking focusing on doing damage instead of doing amazing. That's exactly what your job is.
I can just spam mushwood.
I hate the Ramontre slow.
2, 3, 4, 5. Oh wait, hold on. That gets us closer. I might have had to force it, but it's okay. I needed it. You slip into some kind of vision, you slip into some kind of waking dream, layers upon layers of visions. Diz is your lover, or Mars, or Tammy. You're a boy and a girl, or both and neither. Young and old, a farmer, a hunter, a politician. You're dead and you're alive, and... Wow, this is a lot of stuff up here. You've never been born. Time unravels before you. An infinite tapestry crumbling wherever you look. It's all very weird. You see the web of possibilities and understand what time truly is. It's all happening at once, and none of it will ever happen. It's only sheer chance that any one possibility comes to an existence, not any intrinsic truth of the universe of fate. It's just a glimpse, probably over in a second, but a glimpse of an eternity that you can hardly fathom. Then you see the wormhole, enormous in the starry sky. You look down and see yourself on a plateau, gazing up at it. You recognize the place, a gnarlwood bluff not far from the colony, alive with the phosphorescence of glow season. This you seems expectant, as if waiting for something momentous to arrive, something that will change everything. This vision is so crystal clear and you feel in control, in a way you haven't since you started having these visions. You know you must go there. You wake up feeling refreshed. Your headache is gone. You're still a little dizzy, but the room has stopped spinning and has returned to one singular reality again. The vibrations have stilled. Diz's face fills your vision. Solane, he exclaims. Solane, are you okay? He listens to you in awe, and then dejection when you describe your visions. Why didn't I see it? He sighs. I was here too. I want to know everything. Tell him about your dreams. You tell Diz about how not only did you see all those visions, but you believe that they're real. You've lived them, or some of them anyways. They're as real as the life you're living now. He listens intently and then nods. I believe you, he says simply. You look at him in shock, but he just reaches out and put his hand over yours. I know what it's like when people don't. I'm not going to do that to you. You don't know what any of this means yet, but you're one step closer to figuring it out. You feel like you just had some kind of mega prophecy, but it was all too much to understand at once and too hard to understand. Can the Convergent Domain handle this kind of information? Could they remember past lives like you? Is that what this room, this observatory, was meant for? The only thing you remember clearly from the visions is the image of you during glow season, standing at the top of that gnarlwood bluff just outside the colony, waiting for something. Keep exploring. Hey Sim, did you know about this? Probably not. I'm still 16, right? Oh, 17. But my birthday hasn't happened yet. Happens at the end of this season. Every so often you see absolutely massive creatures here, like giant snake dragons with thousands of legs and shimmering scales. They're so large that if one crosses your path, you're in for a wait, which is exactly what you're doing. The gargantuan dragon has been slowly lumbering over this ridge for at least half an hour, its body disappearing into the heat haze of the chasms on both sides. Its feet slowly undulate across the cracked soil, making shushing noises and scattering boulders in its wake. Climb up on its back! The creature is moving more than slowly enough for you to climb up, using its large, soft spikes as handholds. It's going to take you hours to get anywhere interesting, but from up on its back you can see further. Also, there are other creatures up here. You've climbed up right next to a cluster of Dorbs moths, heads tucked under their wings like they're sleeping. In the other direction, there's even a bush bub, or rather, it looks like a pile of rocks and some twigs. Centimeter by centimeter, the Goliath makes its way into the chasm. You feel the air grow thicker and less hospitable until the sheer density of heat and the drought makes you feel genuinely concerned for your safety. You climb up the creature's back segment by segment until you're on the top of the ridge, then drop down on the other side. Woo, scary. You investigate a weird squeaking noise, eventually following it to its source. A whole swarm of bounce weasels. I think I've already done this part. Oh. There's a strange heat haze. I've done this before. The faster you move, the faster the mirage disperses. You approach cautiously. This feels familiar, and then you see her. It's you. She just stops and stares at you. This is nuts. You stare at the figure, that person who looks and moves exactly like you. You remember this from before, watching yourself say something. You thought it must have been important, like a warning of some kind, but now that it's time to speak, all that comes into your head is... You ask yourself, what does a Unisaur eat for breakfast? Your mirror image looks at you in confusion, and the mirage breaks up. You chuckle to yourself. Whatever it wants. Oh, that was me. I was on the other side of that mirage this time. That's clever. You come across the peaceful rock, and you feel all your troubles melt away. You lie down on the rock beside Diz, letting the strange magic fill you with an incredible sense of peace. A precarious natural land bridge drops down sharply on both sides here. You kick a rock over the side, but don't hear it hit the bottom. Cross very carefully. The sun goes behind a cloud, and you feel a light splatter your brain. It sizzles into the dry, hot ground around you. Da-da-da-da, look up. A herd of float cows are bobbing overhead like hot air balloons, drifting west in the prevailing winds. You've seen these creatures being milked in the colony's farms. During migration season, their helium sacs swell to make them lighter than air so they can travel great distances. You've also heard what they use for ballast. That wasn't rain. You try to dodge another shower, but it splatters down on you, choking your heads and shoulders. Ah, gross. At least the heat makes it evaporate quickly.
I just jumped into that barrel.
You come across, I've done this already. A beautiful little locust lands on your arms. I want to befriend it.
Okay? I hear him right clicking, it's freaking me out. Oh.
That's 18. It's 20. It's okay. I don't need perception. You look it up on your holopalm. It's a mask wing, named because when it's frightened, they open its wings all the way and flip them forward, making it look like a grimacing manticore. Scary. But even scarier is how much they can eat. They usually eat leafy plant matter, but they're not above eating fabric, wood, hair, or even skin. They swarm in dust and in hot places like the ridges. You see something out of the corner of your eye and look up from your new friend. Oh. In the distance, you see a haze above the ground. It's locusts. Each one is bigger than your fist. These insectoids can eat their weight in under an hour. There are millions of them out there, and you'll be here soon. Your buddy takes off to join its friends, and you gotta go. You make it to your glider in time, thankfully. You come back to this place later. Later in the week. What foliage there had been is now stripped bare. The only things still standing are the crystals glinting in the sunlight. You're treated to a spectacular sight. An enormously long caterpillar dragon kind of creature. Way off in the distance, its thousands of legs and kilometer of shining bodies snaking in and out of the haze at the bottom of the chasm. You just watch it. It's terrifying, like it's a train. It's so far away, but you record its movements. You record its movement coordinates and take a video for Utopia. You're too worn out and tired to continue. We almost have another point in Eminals. That's fun.
I killed a healer.
It's your 17th birthday, but it's not just your birthday. Quiet is a time of new growth, a celebration of life and hope, not just for this year, but for humanity's presence on Vertumna for years to come. You and your friends are the symbol of that hope. Quite literally, you are the future of humanity. As you're beginning to take your place as adults in the colony, the council has decided to throw a party in your honor. The Vertumnan Youth Ball. Mars is organizing it, of course. You get an embossed invitation on real paper slipped on your door. Party, party, party! You slip into some party clothes and head over to the lounge to celebrate, well, yourselves. And yourself, specifically. It is your birthday, after all. The lounge is all decked out. The decorations look expensive. Must have taken a lot of nanoprinter creds. Your friends are transformed, too. Everyone is dressed up and looks like the young adults you're becoming. You can hardly recognize some of them. Mars catches your eye and waves, her bangles jingling joyfully. She looks like a model from her holomags, every inch of her pripped, painted, and perfumed. So Lane, happy birthday. I'm so glad you could make it, she says over the steady thrum of music. Drinks are over there, make your song request to congruence, and take off your shoes! You look down at your boots, then back at Mars skeptically. She rolls her eyes and does a little bounce. Sock hop, just like Earth, duh. At the refreshment table, Cal is stuffing his face with party food, and Rex shoves 2 glasses of punch into your hands. Gotta stay hydrated, he says, pouring himself another glass. We'll be sweating it out one way or another, he winks at you. Don't let them fool you, Tangent mutters, joining you. She smears a glob of something pink and meaty looking onto a cracker. It's a well-documented documented phenomenon that people inexperienced with imbibing alcohol will begin to act as if they're drunk, even if they're completely sober. To Rex, she adds, I mean, of course, that I am not going to suffer any bad behavior. Rex grins as he pulls a flask out of his vest and pours a healthy addition into his glass. Who says it's gotta be an ass? Let's get loose. Come on, it's a party. The music changes to something with a fast pounding beat. Rex throws his head back and howls, woo, it's time to dance.
Yeah, I got knocked down and I jumped up and got
Who am I all friends with?
I was like, awesome.
I'm just gonna hang out, I think. Rex and Mars take to the dance floor, joined by Nem and a reluctant-looking vase. You stay behind with the others to watch, still marveling at how mature your friends seem tonight. They've transformed, like grotty little grubs into beautiful Dorbs moths. Diz shows up late and skulks around the outside of the lounge, eventually coming to pick at the food on the table. He keeps his distance from Tangent. Cal eventually heeds the siren's call of the dance floor and saunters over to join the others. You're left making somewhat awkward small talk about the food with the 2 siblings. Nomi, who's playing DJ with Congruence, spins up something a lot slower. It's more romantic. Grab a partner and pull them in close, they announce dreamily, or whatever distance you both feel comfortable with. Everyone giggles and shuffles around, feeling the intangible friction of teenage politics. Who dances with whom? Who makes the first move? Think about Sim. You excuse yourself from the party and head out to the porch for some fresh air. You know it's impossible, but wouldn't it be nice if... Wait. You're joking! You see a dark shape slip out of the forest, then a flash of Sim's pale skin as he raises his hand to you and beckons you beyond the walls. You check to see if anyone's watching, then slip down from the porch and out the gates. Sim meets you under the shadow of the walls. He tilts his head, listening to the music wafting down from above the lounge. From the lounge above. What's going on? You explain the significance of the dance. Everyone's coming of age, a time of hope for the colony, and how it's also just happens to be your birthday. His eyes light up. It's your birthday, he says and holds his hand out to you. It's customary to give presents, is it not? Perhaps a dance? You embrace Sim, not expecting him to be much of a dancer, but he surprises you. He moves with a fluid grace that easily compels you to follow his lead on a tour of the leeward side of the walls. When the song ends, you reluctantly part and head back to the lounge. You don't want anyone to ask questions about where you've been. On your way back, you have to sneak around Nem and Vase. Luckily, they're too busy making out to notice you slip past them. After the slow songs, Nomi spins Congruence's music library to something with a little bit more bounce to it. The dance floor once more floods with bodies ready to gyrate the night away. Oh. But the tunes are abruptly interrupted by Governor Lum's Hearspeak hijacking the feed. He strides to the stage, flanked by Security Chief Rhett. Everyone on the dance floor whines in unison at having some buzzkill adult stop the music, but Lum just raises his hands and smiles indulgently. Look at all of you, he says, young pioneers. I look at you and I see the future. Not just of this colony, but of all of humanity. You catch a few people rolling their eyes. They've heard this before. Rhett here, good man, a really good man, really the best of the colony, shared this poem from a great Earth poet. Lum continues. Now, I'm not one for poetry myself, but damn if it's not something I want to share with you kids tonight on the eve of something really big. He clears his throat and reads from his hollow palm. We cannot tarry here. We must bear the brunt of danger. We, the youthful sinewy races, all the rest on us depend. Down the edges, through the passes, up the mountain steep, conquering, holding, daring, venturing as we go the unknown ways. Pioneers, oh pioneers. We primeval forests felling, we the rivers stemming, vexing we and piercing deep the mines within. We the surface broad surveying, we the virgin soil upheaving. Pioneers, oh pioneers. Boring. Rhett looks a little pained, but Lum continues. What do you think that poem means, kids? He asks. Does it mean we should sit here in our colony, politely waiting for this planet to make a space for us? He clenches his fist evocatively into the air. No, he exclaims. It means we need to get out there. We need to grab Rotumna by the balls and make it respect us. Okay. He points at you specifically. I need you, the next generation, to lead the charge. This is your planet. You're old enough now to defend it. I'm asking all eligible fighters to join squads massing at expeditions. To get out there and attack those monsters where they live. We're taking the fight to them, no more hiding behind our walls. To your left, Vase and Nem lead the cheering that erupts. Lum and Rhett leave and the music spins back up again, but only a few die-hard partygoers still want to dance. Everyone else is broken into small groups to discuss the announcement. You are angry. This is bullshit, Cal exclaims, causing a few heads to turn. They're not even going to try to figure out why the animals are attacking us. They're just going to kill, kill, kill. He waves his arms over his head. Aren't we supposed to be better than that? Diz clearly agrees, though much more quietly. They don't even know what's out there, he mutters. They have no idea what they're up against. How much am I friends with you guys? You are at 71, and you are at 81. Are they both up high?
From some weird lady.
Technically, I guess Diz is my closest friend. The party fizzles out as everyone drifts away from the lounge. You return to find your dad has stayed up to make sure you got home safe. He's never done that before. You've always been told the colony was safe. Now you see his sad eyes and you know that time is over. Oh, man. Alright, I'm gonna rest, and if anything else happens, great, but I think this is gonna be the last month I play.
True.
Oh, Cal wants to talk. You're looking around for Cal when you overhear him just around the other side of the geoponics dome. For the last time, leave me alone! That doesn't sound good. You get closer and find Cal facing down Rhett and Vase. They've cornered him, their body language calm and relaxed, while Cal is so angry he's almost shaking. Cal, please listen to us, Rhett says, spreading his hands. We're not here to conscript you. I can't force you to join the army. All I'm saying is that I need good, loyal, strong young men like you out there on the front lines. Rhett smiles. You're a good boy, Cal. I admire your passion for peace and your dedication to fighting for it. That's why I'm here, asking you to help me protect the colony. protect the colony, Cal spits. That's such a lie. You're not protecting anything. You're just slaughtering defenseless animals in their home. It's disgusting. Hey, Vase retorts, taking a step forward with his fist raised. Show some respect. Cal squares up like he's ready to take the hit. For who? He asks, voice sharp. Psychopaths like you? Vase roars and looks like he's about to take a swing, but Rhett holds him back with one hand raised. Vase slinks back to Rhett's side, glowering at Cal. I can tell you need a bit more time, Rhett says. I just wanted to let you know that my door is always open if... Get lost, Cal says, cutting Rhett off. Rhett looks surprised. I'm not interested and I never will be. Vase looks like he's about to lip off again, but Rhett speaks before he can. All I ask is that you keep in the back of your mind, Cal. When you come around, I'll be happy to talk to you about your options. With that, they leave. Vase gives you a scathing look as they pass. Cal sits down heavily on the sack of fertilizer he must have been carrying before Vase and Rhett cornered him. This isn't even the first time, he mutters, his face in his hands. They're really dead set on getting me to join the hunting parties. I told them I don't want to kill anything, and Rhett was like, it's okay. You can just tell us how to kill them. Like, that's any better. I wish they would leave you alone. Me too. They have a real messed up idea of what it means to serve the colony. Like, who do they think grows their food? Ghosts? Cal picks at a loose thread on the sack he's sitting on. Man, this whole war is light speed stupid, he mutters. Lum and his people come crashing in here and they think they run the place because they have bombs and guns, and nobody stops to think, like, maybe we're actually the invasive species here. We need to live in harmony with nature. I'm glad you agree, Cal says. I just feel like we showed up and just plopped ourselves right in the middle of the food web, Cal continues, and we didn't even think for a second about the chaos that would cause on the ecosystem. We owe it to this planet to try to do our best to understand. Cal looks out towards the walls. Maybe the answer is out there, he says quietly. You go on expeditions a lot, right? Can you keep an eye out for, like, the answer to everything? Cal's shoulders slump in a sigh, and he pushes himself to his feet. Man, I wish I could still talk about the stuff with Anemone, he says, slinging the sack of fertilizer over his broad shoulders again. You can see why Rhett wanted to get on the defense force so badly. I miss her, Cal admits. I miss that we used to be so close when we were kids. He shakes his head. But she's gone all gone all human supremacist now, and I just can't stomach that, you know?
Play Jimbo.
Aw. Yeah.
It's a Jimbo.
Everyone's got ideas.
Jimbo.
Diz is relaxing in the back of one of the expedition vehicles absorbed in a hollow novel. You clear your throat, and he jumps, but gives you an awkward but genuine smile. Hey, Solane, he says, pulling his leg out of the way so you can climb it beside him. It's getting harder to find places to be alone, don't you think? I'd kill to be out exploring, but Utopia insisted we have a rest day. He rolls his eyes. Diz closes his hollow novel and sighs. It's so crowded here, he complains, and boring. I'd rather be out there with Sim, learning about the planet. Diz continues, looking wistful. He folds his hands over his heart. He's so interesting. I could talk to him forever, you know? Like, we really connect. Have you gotten much out of him? Yeah, Diz exclaimed, sitting up straighter. Well, I mean, sort of. He still says there's a lot I'm not supposed to know yet, but I figured out a lot on my own. The biggest thing is that the planet is all connected, like a fungal network that's so old and complex that it's practically like a computer, he says, talking fast and excited. And not just the mushrooms, the trees, the animals, even the rocks in the water. Diz smiles. He didn't want me to know that one, he confides in you, but I guessed it. Remember how your dad got sick every year from the pollen and it was actually fungal spores? Well, I started thinking from there, and it's like, yeah, every year the planet refreshes its communication network with fresh spores. It's so cool. I didn't know that. Well, how about the fact that Sim is really old? Like, really, really old, Diz continues. Like, probably thousands of years old. Sometimes he talks about stuff from ancient history like he was really there, because he totally was. Diz laughs a little. But he still acts like a kid sometimes, you know? Like, he loves holovids and candy and playing tricks. I knew that. Oh, right, Diz says. He said that you helped him to get access to the holovid archive. Good job, by the way. Oh, and I've seen other gardeners, Diz says quietly. They don't look like Sim at all. They look like... well, they look scary. Whoa, no way. Okay, one more, Diz says, his face going pink. The gardeners don't have clothes. Sim was naked when I met him. I had to bring him clothes from the colony. Are you blushing? No, Diz stammers, his face going even more red. It was just really embarrassing, okay? He was naked. I didn't know where to look. What about you? What has he told you? Well, Diz is listening intently. Sim's hair seems alive. Diz rolls his eyes. Well, duh, anyone who sees him knows that, he says. It's like it moves, right? I thought I was imagining it, but it's kind of like how plants move to face the sunlight. That's all I know. I wish we could tell people about Sim, Diz says. I feel like if people knew him like we do, they'd realize what they're doing here is wrong. But I'm scared if I tell someone, Sim will never talk to me again. He says we're not ready. We can't tell anyone what we know. I know, Diz says, sighing as he thunks his head against the window of the cab. I don't want to mess up whatever plan they have. I just want to help, though, you know? We can't trust them. Well, Diz says, looking conflicted. Maybe not, but we can trust Sim, right? I'm actually not positive on that one. You're catching up with Nem between her drills when she looks over your shoulder and frowns. Newton's bloody apple, she curses and seeming to shriek behind you. She's here again. You turn at the other end of the garrison. You can see a small crowd of young soldiers forming around Chief Steward and Tessendant. She's handing out the lunch tiffins and doling out hugs to anyone who comes within melee range, which is quite a few of them. You've noticed, just from hanging around the garrison, that some of the transplanted Helio soldiers have even started calling her Auntie. This must be why. She comes by every couple of days, Nem grumbles, like we're still kids in the creche playing in her skirts. It's so disruptive. Eventually, the crowd around Tessendant thins, and she makes her way over to you and Nem. She greets you with a warm hug. She smells nice, like flour and yeast. Hello, Solane. Have you eaten yet? Not yet, Auntie. She smiles fondly and hands you a tiffin, still warm. It's important to keep your strength up, my love, she says, and pats you on the cheek. Tessendant turns to Nem. You can almost feel the temperature in the room drop several degrees as Nem stonily stares down her mother. Tessendant's smile grows thin, and she clutches the handles of her basket. How about you, Annie? Have you eaten? Do you need... Nem scowls and crosses her arms. I'm fine, she says, cutting her mother off. Just like I was yesterday and last week. I don't need you to manage me. If you're sure, Tessendant responds hesitantly. It's a mother's job to worry, Annie. She reaches out to lay her hand on Nem's scaly cheeks, but Nem jerks backwards and slaps her hand away. Oh yeah? Nem retorts. You just sit around and worry? Must be nice. I bet you'd like it if that was all I did, too, huh? If I quit being a soldier and spent all day cuddling babies and wiping noses and fixing clothes like you did? Nice and safe in the creche forever? Nem, she's your mother. Nem turns her frightening scowl on you. Stay out of this, Solane. I never thought that, Annie, she says, laying her hand on her heart. I worry because I love you, and I always will. I'm just doing what I can to keep you safe. Oh, you are such a bitch. Love doesn't keep anyone safe, Nem exclaims, raising her voice enough that some of the soldiers turn their heads to watch. Her thunderous expression convinces most of them to go back to their business. Nem clenches her fist. Love didn't keep calm safe, did it? She says, her voice breaking. There's no amount of love or worry on this whole stupid planet that can do that, so you should just stop, okay? Stop, or I'm gonna do something actually useful. I'm never gonna be like you. I'm gonna fight. Oh, no. Vase peels off from his unit and jogs over to stand beside Nem. You okay, babe? He asks, putting his hand on Anemone's shoulder. She covers it with her own and angles her body towards him. Yeah, everything's just galactic, Nem mutters. My mom and I was just about to tell me about how much she wishes I would give up being a soldier so I can pop out babies and be safe. That's not at all what happened. That's not at all what happened. Nem, you're such a bitch. Tessendant sputters, trying to explain herself, but Vase beats her to it. Anemone is an exemplary soldier, Chief Steward, he says calmly. I know it's hard for a mother to accept, but we're all much safer for her service to the colony. He puts one finger under Nem's chin, talking directly to her. I remembered, Nemi, that we exist to protect people like your mother, to preserve the bond between parents and their children. Vase gives Tessendant a swift smile. If the stars align, one day we won't lose any more sons. A soft "oh" escapes Tessendant as she blots her eyes. Oh, you are one of the good ones, aren't you? She says, clearly trying not to cry. Just walking in the footsteps of the good men and women who served before me, ma'am. Vase replies. We couldn't do it without you keeping the hearth lit for us. Speaking of, I'll take lunch if you have any left. Tessendant laughs and hands him a tiffin from her basket, then goes up on her toes to give him a quick hug. Over her shoulder, Vase shoots a cheeky wink at Nem, who rolls her eyes and snorts. Thank you, Vase, for fucking making Nem get back in line. What a bitch. How dare you? Oh, I hate my mother. I'm gonna relax on the walls. You're sort of half-heartedly scouting by walking along the walls when you come across what looks like a little memorial shrine tucked into an alcove. I think I've already done this one. I've already seen that one. Alright. Thank God there was nothing at the end of that. Alright. Woo! Gotta hit save. Alright. That is where we're gonna stop. Because it's been 2.5 hours. And a lot of things have happened. And... you know, we met a new character. He's interesting. I have a feeling he probably likes anything you give to him. I don't get the impression that he is just, like, actually looking for gifts. We'll see, though.
Yeah, we've also played with the majority of the
Don't know
players.
anything else about him. I'm pretty sure there's not like an augment. We'll see, though. We will see. I will be back on Friday playing, oh my god, Legend of Zelda. I forgot that was happening. The new Legend of Zelda game. And depending on how it goes, it might be a longer stream, but we will see.